Years ago when we started hiking, we chose good solid equipment, but after getting ready for the Colorado Trail and thinking about longer trails, we knew that those packs were too heavy, too big. They had to be lightened and made smaller just to make doing a long trail or a through hike a lot easier on us, have a better experience as well. It's like after a bunch of trial and error, trying to find the right gear, smaller, lighter, definitely lighter. We chose a Gossamer Gear Mariposa pack, under 2 pounds, unbelievable. But then again, it has 7 outside pockets and a big inner area, you know, it held all of our gear perfectly. It was amazing. Made of Robic nylon, it's water resistant, not waterproof. So we put a Z-Pax liner on the inside of the bag just to keep everything dry, just in case we hit any bad storms. So what worked? The Gossamer Gear Mariposa. What didn't work was older, heavier, bigger packs that were just way too much for a through hike. Our tent choice, on the other hand, we really did have a nice little tent. The weight was really good on it, but we didn't really like the setup. It took a little longer than we wanted it to. We didn't like the size. The floor size wasn't large enough, and then it came to a point above our heads, and we never felt like we had enough room inside the tent to move around. And then we just, wanted to drop a little more weight at all possible. So getting rid of a rain fly would have been great, but impractical. You can't have a tent without a rain fly. We found the Z-Pax Duplex. We saw that we could get rid of a rain fly and still have excellent waterproof tent. So that became a great choice for us. Really lightweight tent, super waterproof. So much room, probably the first 2-man tent we'd ever had that we felt like this really is for 2 people. As most other tents, 1 person, 1.5 people, that's just about it. But the Z-Pax Duplex, great room. All of our gear, ourselves, everything we needed inside the tent fit perfectly, wonderfully. We were constantly comfortable. Had big open areas, just a really good solid tent for the Colorado Trail.
I love the screen sides. When we were looking at a different 2-man tent, and I saw this one, I would look at video footage of others using it. This was one of the biggest selling points to me, I think.
Well, it doesn't feel closed in like a lot of tents.
Right, it didn't give you that tube
and then
effect,
if you want the privacy, we can close the doors on it, and you can have complete privacy. 2 vestibules on either side. Normally we would sleep on the trail, we would have at least one side closed off, or just a quarter panel on one side, and then the other side another one closed off to vent.
Right.
So what worked? The Z-Pax Duplex, Cuban fiber, ultralight tent, every time, perfect tent. What didn't work? Older style tents, nylon fabric, heavier, holds water, not as weatherproof. And it's time to move on. Lighter tent, bigger size, perfect marriage. Our sleeping pad was another new product to us, the Xped Senmat Duo. And we bought the winter version because we knew we were going to be in some colder climates above tree line, around 12 and 13,000 feet. And this one had the R value of 5, which was incredible. Not one cold night on trail for us. It was a lot quieter than the 2 pads that we had before, and they fit together, but they slid around a lot on us. Kind of had a crinkly sound to them. They worked great, but when you're trying to use them in conjunction with a quilt on top of you, you wind up with a gap in the middle, and when those pads move around, you have a cold spot, and ultimately we both would wind up in the middle. the pads slipping out from under us, and we'd be on the floor of the tent basically in a cold spot. So the sin mat didn't move around at all, which was great. We could side sleep comfortably, which was incredible. Never had that before. For its size, it was really lightweight. So that was a great buy for us. Obvious. What worked? The X-Ped Sin Mat Duo. What didn't work? 2 single pads trying to use them as one solid big pad. They just moved around. It didn't work for us. So a dual pad, perfect. Great to go with a quilt. No more sleeping bags. We're quilt sleepers for now on.
Absolutely.
It's the enlightened equipment accomplice. Game changer for us. Just an amazing piece of equipment for your sleep system. This thing was awesome. I mean, we'll never go back to a mummy bag ever again. I guess if you had to put us in something, it would have to be a rectangular sleeping bag and 2 that you could zip together.
Right.
But I don't know if you can find anything on the market light enough to beat this thing. This is like 2 pounds, under 2 pounds, I think. It's rated to 10 degrees, and between 10 degrees in warmth Fahrenheit and being able to get under this and cuddle with each other, share our body heat.
Right.
I mean, it's the lightest, most comfortable piece of equipment we've ever had for a sleep system. It's just absolutely amazing. You know, you get in it, and you just throw it over you or throw it off of you, you know, if you get hot. And then we would tuck it under our sides at night if it was cold. You know, so no air would get through. A lot of people are like, well, how do you keep the air from getting in? Well, you just tuck it under your side and you're good. There's no air going to get in, you know, and we could, you know, crouch down and get underneath it if we wanted to. I would use my puffy hat, or you could just use a little beanie and, you know, you're going to stay warm. One of the neat things about it is, you know, it's completely open. There's no zipper, and that's where you have your weight savings. You know, a lot of sleeping bags, they're closed, and you're sleeping on top of the closed part. You're compressing it and pushing it against the ground, and there's absolutely no R value in that whatsoever. You're getting rid of all your insulation by compressing it and putting it flat on the ground. So why use it? Why have it? You know, get rid of it. It's not going to do you any good. It's just dead weight. So that's the premise of these quilts. They cut that piece out, and now you have this huge weight savings, and you're losing nothing. Just weight. You're not losing comfort. You're not losing any protection from the cold. You know, it's just dead weight. You don't need it.
Well, you know, one of the things I find is that I sleep warmer than you.
Yeah.
So, and even in the mummy bag, my own single mummy bag, I would get so hot that I'd have to pull myself out.
Right.
And you'd wake up to do that with this. It's like at home, you just kind of, you know, fling it off the side and cool off. And if you get, you know, a little bit too cold, you just bring it back.
You're flipping it off.
Right.
I've got mine tucked under me
Right.
because I'll sleep colder than you.
Right, yeah.
I still have you on my other side.
Yeah.
So none of that air is coming through to me whatsoever. And
Right.
then another neat feature Mia likes, the foot box is completely sewn shut. So you have this whole area down by your feet from here to here. It's completely sewn shut. Your feet never get cold. We would keep all of our electronics and our water filter in there at night. So the water filter would never freeze, and the electronics, they lose their juice when they get really cold. So this was a great place to keep all that. But it was also still plenty big for our feet and equipment down there. I
Right.
never knew they were even there. I just knew they were safe.
Right.
But they didn't bother my feet whatsoever. So the down in this bag, like I said, rated to 10 degrees. It's treated, so it can handle a little damp moisture. You know, you don't want to submerge it in water or it be in a rainstorm by any stretch. But like our own body moisture is probably its worst enemy, and it handled that quite well.
Right.
So, you know, it locks back up. You just cram this in your bag, you know, and you pull it back out and you're like, oh my gosh, it's lost all its loft. But, you know, what, 5-10 minutes, and laying it out in the tent. It lofts back up super thick.
It compacts well in the bag when you.
At the end
Yeah.
of the day, you get in your tent at night and you've got this nice lofty quilt.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about comfort. I mean, we slept in comfort between our Z-Pax duplex, the Xped Sinmat Duo that we use as a sleeping pad, and this. I mean, it's like the best sleep system we have ever had, bar none. So what worked? A double quilt. Wonderful comfort. What didn't work? Older style mummy bags that just didn't allow the same freedom of movement and comfort as you would have in your own bed with a quilt.